Hello, and welcome to another episode of Staying Power. This is a show that is all about building a better life, and that's a big topic. So, knowing that, every week we break it down into a littler topic. It's one way that you can build a better life, and we hope that it resonates with you. And as you can tell, it's not just me, it's we, and you can hear the other part of the we laughing in the background. I am JDK Winnikin, and the person who's laughing in the background is the ever-present, ever-bubbly, ever-awesome Ashley Knievel. Hi, Ashley.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good. That was a little bit of a different intro.
That was great.
Oh, thank you. So better than a few weeks ago where I completely crashed out of the gate. Remember that? That was rough.
And also a few weeks ago, I lost my voice like halfway through one of our
man. You were such a gamer.
shows.
You kept going through it.
It was a labor of love.
Is it back?
It's back.
Sounds
yes.
good. Sounds good. Oh,
I
very
just
good.
pity those who listened to that one.
Oh, no. You did a great job. You did a great job. And thank you. Speaking of the people who are listening and or watching, welcome. If you are brand new to the show, we're delighted to have you here. And there are a lot of back episodes you can go check out if you'd like, wherever you get your podcasts or at our YouTube channel, Staying Power Show. You can also find out more about us at our radio home, 1150 AM KKNW in Seattle. And at all those locations, there are links in the show notes to our email, stayingpowershow@gmail.com, and then all the ways you can get in touch with us via social media. And there is more coming on the way. Ashley and I have our thinking and creative caps on lately, talking about some things we can add in for your benefit going forward. So we'll have more on that coming up as soon as that stuff is ready. Is that fair to say, Ashley?
That's fair.
Yeah, I think so. Okay.
I agree.
All right. So really happy to have you here. Want to make sure we also tell you about our sponsor, Pars Revive Renovation. They are a wonderful home renovation company here in the Pacific Northwest. They do amazing work, and they build off what you're looking for and give you options on things that you didn't know to look for. And they turned it into something beautiful. They, just the same way we want to help you kind of liven up your internal spaces, they love to help you liven up your external spaces. And that's why they enjoy working with us, and we enjoy working with them. If you'd like to learn more about them, check them out at parsrenovation.com, P-A-R-S renovation.com. And if you reach out to them, let them know that you heard about them from us and see what happens. All right? Okay. Ashley, did I cover everything?
I think so.
I think so. Okay, let's jump into today's topic. Last week, you really did a nice job with the questions that you brought in. That was awesome. And you have something else today. So Ashley kind of goes in waves. You notice that? Like you go in waves, like where all of a sudden all these topics come.
Yeah, that's true.
Why don't you tell everybody about this one?
Well, this one was also a question, and I don't exactly recall where I heard the question. I think I was probably listening to like a podcast or something. And speaking of which, and not ours, but another one. And there was a question that was posed, and it was something to the effect of, if you were to design a class, if you were to teach a class, what would the topic be that you would choose? Oh. And I kind of passed over it like, whatever. And then I went back to it, and I'm like, oh, that's really interesting. Because I think I passed over it initially because I'm like, well, I don't know anything to teach.
So did you catch yourself on that thought?
And then I'm like, well, why don't you know anything to teach? And then I'm like, oh, well, maybe I do actually.
Okay.
Kind of a ping pong back and forth.
Was it in that moment? Like you immediately dismissed this and caught it, or did something come up later?
Yeah, no, it was a dismiss. And then I'm like, well, wait a minute, why not? The inner workings of my brain. And so then,
It's fun to watch in real time, by the way. It is.
Oh, yeah. So anyway, so then I was considering, and I'm like, well, I thought I didn't know anything to teach because I don't feel like I have like mastered something or have spent years in the making of working on something, that type of thing, that I would initially think of as someone who teaches or as a professor or an instructor of, however you want to put it.
Right.
However, I'm like, well, you don't always have to be so many steps ahead of people to teach them something. You can be a couple steps ahead and teach people things. Yeah. So when I kind of looked at it through that lens, I'm like, oh, well, I can teach people some things. Of course. So anyways, that is what came to mind. Don't know if you're a game.
You want to try one of these things out? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Oh,
I think it'd be kind of fun.
It would be. I haven't put my teacher hat on in a while.
I am sitting next to it.
Well, and for those of you who are new, don't know a little bit of my backstory, I was in academia for a long time, history, and I taught a lot of classes. So the answer for me is like, what can't I teach him? No, I know.
I have rubbed off on him. Clearly.
No, it's, but at the same time, I've learned a lot since I left formal teaching about that I would do differently if I was back in the classroom.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of things I would do differently. And of course, times have changed, right? With the advent of new technologies, particularly AI, a lot of those things have changed.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would be really interested in exploring this. Like, do you want to put this out for people to like?
I mean, I just think we could pose it, yes, as a question to other people and just as like a way to look inward and think like, what do I know that I could
instruct people
with, or give
guidance.
Yourself some darn credit for knowing something.
That's
other
what I like
people
about
don't,
this.
you know?
Yeah,
so that's kind of where this came from.
Okay. That's what I like about this.
Honestly giving myself some credit.
Okay. So you think we'll come up with something. Yeah. Let's give yourself some credit. Let's celebrate Ashley today. Right. Let's go ahead. Because, if you missed last week's episode, my brain is still reeling from the fact that she taught herself how to read at 4 years old. So if you can teach yourself to read at 4 years old with a tape deck.
It was a tape deck.
With a tape deck. Then you certainly have something to teach besides how to teach your 4-year-old how to read on their own. There's something else. So I think we should do this. So in real time, you want to build that. So how can I help?
I think we can. Well, I think we should first pose the question.
Okay.
If you were to teach something today, and I would preface you to not fall back on your default of history, right?
Yeah,
like choose something like modern day. Not history's not modern day, but you know what I mean? Like choose something that you don't already have a history.
Something contemporary.
No pun intended. Yes. Nice. What would your topic be?
I would probably do something that's probably connected to the coaching realm. I work with a lot of young men. It would probably be something along the lines of how young men can go from being teenagers to young men who feel like they're in control of their life, that they have choices. Right now, I work with a lot of young men who feel like there's no point in moving forward. They have nowhere to go. Life is too difficult. Things are too challenging. I don't think that's true. I think despite the challenges that a lot of people have, I think there are ways to work ourselves through that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd probably do something for younger men in that regard. Like, here's how you can set yourself up for success and feel good and experience yourself using your own agency and your own ability to make choices and your own ability to handle discomfort and to grow. I think and right now, because where they're pulling it from is just 30-second sound bites, or frankly from online influencers and commentators who I don't think are doing anybody a service.
No.
So it's really toxic, really simplistic, really antagonistic, really either self-indulgent or self-loathing, or blaming other people, targeting other people for their problems. I don't believe in any of that. So I think I would choose something in that realm. But you brought this up, so I want to know what you would choose.
Oh, me?
And then we can work on both of these if we want to.
Oh.
But I think I want to know what yours is, because maybe my teaching chops and stuff can contribute something to yours.
Your teaching chops.
My teaching chops, that's right. I've written curriculums, I've written syllabi, outcomes, that kind of fun stuff. Reading lists. Not that those need to be involved in this.
Are those fun? Who said those are fun?
They can be fun.
You said they were fun?
They can be fun.
Maybe if JD is writing them, they would be fun. Okay. What would my topic be?
What would your topic be?
It's a great question. Probably, I guess it's a little bit of a spin-off of what we talked about last week.
Okay.
About, it kind of ropes into the question that was like, what is something that you have done as an adult that your younger self would be proud of?
That was a good question.
And I said public speaking, or learning how to speak in front of people. And so kind of in that same vein, I think I would want to teach like late teens or early 20 type of age range. Basically like an introduction to professional communication.
Oh.
Because I see young adults coming into the professional workforce, usually about that age as maybe they're finishing high school, going into college, or they're not doing college right away and they're just going right into a job, and they have to all of a sudden be professional and be an adult. And for them, over their last few years in school, AI was a thing. And so they've been able to use ChatGPT and other methods to kind of help them, quote unquote, with their schooling. Now, maybe with schooling it worked, but in a professional environment, it's you.
Right.
And it's your intelligence, it's your communication, it's your articulation, it is you. And what I have seen a lot is many of them don't have those things, or they are not really grown and cultivated.
Those skills, like those soft skills?
Yes, those soft skills, because they were so heavily reliant on AI features to help support them in anything that had to do with critical thinking, with writing, with emotional intelligence, with anything.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden they're in environments where they have to put forth a professional self, and they have to start working with the real world, and they have to start communicating, and they don't know how.
Yeah.
And there is where it would be, not to say like there's brilliant minds at 18 walking around everywhere. I certainly had a lot to learn at that age, but I only see so much more debilitated they are now than what I remember being at that age, because a lot of the things that are normally grown and cultivated have not been.
Yeah, I can't remember where I saw this, but recent research backs up what you're saying, is that a lot of new graduates, early 20s, coming into the workforce are struggling to find their ground in a new job, and there's a lot of turnover initially in new jobs, and because companies on one level expect a certain level of performance. They've been doing it for a while, and there are things I think they can, any good company should be taking a look and going, okay, here's the reality.
Right.
So how do we continue to pull from that? Because, you can hire people who are older, but they cost more.
Yeah.
They cost more in terms of their experience. You pay more for that in salaries. And, speaking as somebody who's in the health insurance field now, if you're older, you pay more for their insurance if you offer that. Right. So now you have to decide, but with, all those prices going up on everything, that's hard. You're absolutely right that is something that's proven difficult. And also when you add in things like grade inflation in universities, for example, where grades have, there are actually schools are now taking measures to reduce grade inflation. There's a couple Ivy League schools that are only allowing now a certain percentage of grades in a class to be A's and A minuses, right? Stuff like that, because they were giving out so many, right? And so that seems to indicate a group or a generation that's coming through where discomfort is being minimized, right? Sure. Let's just make it as smooth as possible, that type of thing. When I understand that to a certain degree, but the world is uncomfortable, right? Particularly the employment world is uncomfortable.
Yep.
And in some ways, discomfort can help us tap into the things about ourselves we didn't think we could do, and push ourselves to places that we didn't think we could go. Learn skills and have the feeling of accomplishment that comes with them that we didn't expect we could. Because we tend not to do those from places of comfort, because when we're comfortable, we kind of want to stay in the comfort.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, you don't build muscles by being comfortable.
Right. Got
to be uncomfortable.
Right. And it's, a friend of mine reminded me, one of the reasons why people admire those who have, good physiques is you can't fake it.
Yeah. You can't buy that.
You can't buy it. I mean, you can inject yourself with stuff, but
you still have to do work.
Still have to do work, and you can tell when the people have gotten some help.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
You can tell that. So that's interesting. It's a good idea.
Even like those that are coming up, I think I spent some time thinking about it. I'm like, when I was in school, sure, there was like the internet and there were still libraries, but like kids aren't really reading much anymore.
No.
And reading is where you learn how to enunciate things, you learn how to spell. Now you have
Critical
spell
thinking.
check, you have smartphones that spell for you and fix things if you need it. People are putting ideas and topics into AI and it's creating a paper for them. And then they're just kind of revamping it in their own words. So those thoughts didn't even come from them,
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they're just not prepared for a world that's going to run them over. And, they, especially in this world now, like networking is huge. And that's how you're going to climb a lot of ladders, is honestly by networking and who you know. And good communication is going to help with that. It's going to help you with interviews. It's going to help you grow your network. It's going to help you on paper. It's like there's so many ways. And I feel bad for that bracket of young generation that's coming up that is going to get tossed into a world that they're not really going to thrive in.
Yeah, because, developing all those skills you just mentioned does also suggest that in the process, they get to know themselves more.
Mm-hmm.
They get to know what they like, what they don't like. They get to know what they're able to accomplish, what's not in their wheelhouse, right? What skills they do well and what skills they have to work on. If there's this element of these things get handed to them, or they have these expectations of how these things are supposed to go and those aren't met, they might be taking themselves out of the game. Maybe it's not so much that they start a job and the who they work for says this isn't going to work, but they might exempt themselves, or they might deny themselves an opportunity to apply for a job or work in a field that they think they can't, or is not going to be interesting, or whatever it is, it's not going to be fulfilling. There's so many different things in there.
Mm-hmm.
I think for the sake of the exercise, a course that's on that would be really hitting a lot of things. And frankly, it's not all that dissimilar from what I was suggesting on my side either, right? Similar skills, right? Agency, choice, responsibility, those things, what those things look like. And they can be around the most basic of things, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know that one of the things that I talk about with young men is how well do they do on the daily tasks? Do they make their bed in the morning? Do they brush their teeth twice a day? Do they take a shower every day? Are they keeping their spaces clean? Are they taking care of their vehicle, right? Are they paying their bills on time? Are they aware what their bills are? Right?
Yeah.
Are they, are they putting together, formulating plans for next steps, this type of thing? Fairly small things, right? But those are things that can carry a lot of weight.
Yeah, those are foundational.
They're foundational. And I know a lot of adults. I work with a lot of adult men, my age, younger and older, who still struggle with all those things.
Mm-hmm.
So that can be a good barometer. If you're able to do those things or build those habits, that can actually show, and you can experience your life getting better because you're kind of showing, I do have a say in what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
I do have control over my environment a little bit more, or I have a say in these things. Sometimes it can be something as basic as that. So, okay. I love this idea.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and, let's do
Okay.
that. Let's go ahead and take our first break here on Staying Power. And be sure to stick around, not just after the break, but later in the show, we're going to have our weekly segment. This week, it's 2 Minutes of Terror, so you'll want to stick around for that. But we hope you'll come back to hear what kind of classes we're going to somehow construct. This is an interesting idea. All right, we'll be back here in just a minute on Staying Power. Stick around. On Staying Power, we talk a lot about building a better life.
And a big part of that is the space you live in every day.
That's why we're excited to partner with Pars Revive Renovation, helping homeowners across the East Side and Puget Sound create spaces that truly reflect who they are.
Whether it's a kitchen, bathroom, or full home renovation, Pars Revive focuses on thoughtful design, quality craftsmanship, and your unique vision.
Because just like personal growth, your home should evolve with you.
To learn more, visit parsrenovation.com. That's PARS renovation.com and start building a space that supports the life you want to live.
Don't ask me to talk.
There's a lot of talk out there. Political talk, sports talk, girl talk, trash talk, and so on. But there's only one, Don't Ask Me to Talk, helmed by conversational off-roaders and podcast pals Eric Ryder and Stacy Heller. They follow every tangent they encounter, from cultural blind spots to their infamous weekly Wheelo topics. Listen wherever you listen to your fave podcasts. Subscribe and share too. Or tune in every Saturday at 3 p.m. or Tuesday at 4 p.m. on KKNW.
Alternative Talk 1150. Local talk for the body, mind, and soul.
Welcome back to Staying Power. JD here with Ashley.
Hi.
And we are building classes today. This is kind of fun, Ashley. It's a good idea. So Ashley posed the question at the top of the show, if you're coming in a little bit late, what's something that you could teach a class about? That, and what would it look like? And so Ashley was talking about kind of professional communication for younger people. Mine was on somewhat similar, working with people on how to kind of connect with their own sense of agency and responsibility and kind of be able to measure how well they're doing in life and kind of build a better life that way. It's a lot of what I do in coaching. So Ashley, I think maybe the place to start is, I'll throw out a few things like if I was creating a class from my old days,
Okay.
where I would start.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so are we agreed for yours? Professional communication is what you would
Yes.
do, what that looks like. And of course, what that means for everything else, right? Because that cascades into personal life, makes everything, right?
Sure.
Okay. First place you got to start is with outcomes.
Okay.
So what would you want if somebody took this course successfully?
Mm-hmm.
And what would success look like? What would be the outcomes you are going to put forward? Is this is what they'll get? This is what you hope you'll get.
Well, that's an interesting question because I know like what kind of assignments I would probably assign to them.
Okay, we'll get to that.
So
We'll get to
some
that.
of that is roped into the answer, I
Okay.
suppose.
Okay.
Is what they would learn and exercise and know how to do based off of the assignments that I would give them. But,
Yeah.
basically to be able to, in an introductionary level, be able to communicate well and in a professional sense and use articulation and intelligence that they are not learning on TikTok. But to like, what are phrases and things that you can use that sound verbatim and that sound more professional?
Okay.
Like there are certain ways of handling.
So are we talking about communicating with customers, with coworkers, with superiors?
Yes.
Okay.
All the above.
All the above.
Yeah.
All right.
Because this
So
is professional. So this is not with your friends or your parents. This
Okay.
is in a occupational professional setting.
so are we talking verbal and written?
Yes.
Okay. Any other forms of communication? Those are the two big ones, right?
I would say nonverbal is another class.
Nonverbal. Right. Yeah.
Nonverbal
Body
communication
language.
is another class.
Yeah.
So
Body language, facial
probably
expressions.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah, don't
reading-
roll don't roll your eyes at your boss. That's a
Yeah.
good
And
that's a
if
good
you're
one.
on Zoom, remember you're on camera.
Remember you're on camera, right? Yeah, basics like that. Okay. So we're talking verbal and written
Mm-hmm.
communication for the most part.
Mhm.
Are we also talking about performance would also be like how you show up in the office? So are we talking about what your hygiene, what your dress,
I mean, that could be,
communicates.
wouldn't that be nonverbal
nonverbal?
communication?
Okay, nonverbal.
I mean, I suppose I could put an element of that in there
Yeah.
as a way to supplement your professional communication because you're still, how you show up is still communicating something.
So would it be fair to say that your outcome is by the end of this class, you'd like somebody who took it to know the basics and the outlines and the steps taken to know you're showing up, communicating to the best of your ability in a professional environment?
Yes.
Okay, across the board. See, there you go.
Look at that
So,
articulation.
If you're going to write a syllabus for the class, that would be an
Mhm.
outcome you would put in there, right?
Okay.
And you'd have like a description of what the course is about, what it's meant to do. Okay. All right. So that's sort of basic outcomes, right? So how long are you thinking you would want to teach this class? How many segments?
Segments?
15 weeks, semester?
I mean, well, okay. I'm usually thinking quarters, which I believe is like 12 weeks,
10 to 12.
10 to 12. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So something like that.
Yeah.
You can also call it pieces. It doesn't have to be one every week. You can make it for as long, you could have a 12-week course that has 6 pieces and each piece takes 2 weeks, right? So
I see what you're saying.
there's stuff like that. There's all different ways to do it and how you want to do it. Depends on what topics you want to go into. Okay. So, you already said you have ideas for assignments. We're not quite there yet.
I have a couple ideas.
You have
for
a couple
assignments.
ideas.
Yeah.
More importantly, what would you want to hit as primary topics? Like, we're going to study this part in depth. I've heard a few so far. How to better verbally communicate in the
Mhm.
office,
Mhm.
which would include things like communicating, here's the help that I need on my job, right? Or here's the assistance I need, or I'm not sure I understand this. Or so active initiating conversation professionally, is that kind of one thing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
How to communicate that you understand the directions you've been given, giving them back so you're understanding what you've been told to do. Would that be another one?
Yeah, I suppose it could be. I
Okay.
mean, that is part of it.
Sure. What about time management, things like that, hitting goals on time? That's part of communication because you're being expected to hit goals on time. And how do you communicate if you're worried you're not going to get there?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Time management and organization of stuff.
Organization.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that, when we talk about nonverbal communication, the ability to do that communicates a lot of what kind of coworker you
Well,
are.
because I'm thinking of the age range of this is an introduction, right? So this is not like
There you go.
third level of this.
Very
This is
good.
for people who are new, like
Very good.
just trying to start their first.
This is 101.
Yes, their first interview, trying to get a job at Nordstrom, or
Thank you.
in
Good
like
understanding.
in an office setting, or retail office, whatever. But something in that regard.
Okay, good. All right, sounds good. So how many topics are we talking about? We don't have to come up with all of them.
I mean, I would say at least 4.
At least 4.
Because then I do think nonverbal communication in the elements of how you're physically presenting
Mm-hmm.
should be also included in that.
How well you show up on time? Does that fit?
Yeah. I mean, showing up, everything on that. And that's why that would probably be like 2 weeks. So I would say probably, if we're really hammering this out, 2 weeks per element
There we
of
go.
this, which is going to be about 4 to 5.
4 to 5. So we're talking about just on that 8 to 10 weeks, 8 to 10,
Yeah, give or
periods of time. And then what, a week or 2 of summary follow-up? Review?
There'll be a 1 week of an intro
Okay.
and then 1 week of an outro.
Outro. Okay. So 1 week of an
Summary.
intro and outro. So we're talking between 10 and 12 with those included. That's great. That's great. Okay. I can tell you really want to talk about the assignments.
Do I? Is it your turn to outline?
Oh, no,
your
you want me to
class?
outline mine?
I don't know.
I don't
Is
know.
it?
I like yours.
Oh,
This
okay.
is kind of fun.
We can do mine.
No, that's fine. I think for my outcomes,
Yeah.
I think what I would do.
How would you frame your course?
I would.
Actually, the question also that you didn't ask me.
What's
is
that?
this in person or online?
I
I would do mine in person.
I would want to do it in person,
Okay.
ideally.
I don't want to do a
lot.
hybrid. I want it completely in person.
Yeah, in person is
Okay.
good.
All
In
right.
person is good because it forces people to show up
Yeah.
and take agency, right?
Yeah.
and
Well,
invest.
I need to see if my students are showing up on time and how they're showing up to my class
100%.
because I could use examples.
100%. Exactly. And then you could do it in real time. You'd be like, okay, see, here's what this communicates,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
I think that's a great idea, right? In person. Yeah. Same for me because I want my students in this case to be taking steps that I know they're coming in, choosing to come in. They may or may not be all that enthused to do it, but they still do it anyway,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it's interesting because when I talk about with clients about how well they show up for themselves, it includes a lot of what you're talking about. Like, are you keeping yourself clean? Are you getting ready for work every day? Are you getting enough sleep? Are you rushing out the door every single day?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Or are you taking time to bring yourself together? Pull yourself together. Take a few minutes before you rush out into the world to get yourself centered. What does that even mean? Those types of things. And also kind of learning to act no matter what's going on in your head
Mm-hmm.
or no matter what feelings you are having on something, right? Because one of the challenges that I know that a lot of clients I work with is they have anxiety that can seemingly really slow them down and they want to freeze, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fight, flight, or freeze. How to work through that and still take steps. Might not take the anxiety away. But interestingly enough, when you take steps in the midst of anxiety, you still do them anyway, it tends to reduce the anxiety,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I would want it in person too. The outcomes for me would be for my people taking my class to feel like they've got a roadmap with steps, practical, that they can follow and check in on every day and do them and make them habits over time that show them that they have a lot more control and agency
Mm-hmm.
and accountability for themselves than they may think they have. And if they can discover that, then suddenly a lot more becomes more possible for them in their own life and their own experience. So that would be my outcome. And I would do the same thing. I could probably break that into 5 or 6 different topics, break that out over a couple weeks,
Okay.
right? Intro, outro, 10, 5 or 6 in between, something like that. Because I think that would be good. I think it would be good. And it's worth noting too, like if anybody who's listening is not in that age range, ask yourself how well you do any of those things. We all need tune-ups. We all need practices. Just last week, Ashley, you and I were both talking at the end of the show about how procrastination is a real thing for us sometimes. And, that's part of what's happening here. But there's also for younger generations, there seems to be a lot more avoidance. It goes beyond procrastination.
Sure.
which I think can be addressed, frankly, right? And, young people who are nervous about the world they're coming into, I get it. I'm nervous about the world we're living in. I've been here a lot longer.
That's true.
So it's not a matter of pretending that doesn't exist. It's a matter of learning how to come to terms with the fact that it does. And yet,
Right. What do you do about that?
What do you do about that? And not giving the rest of the world so much power to keep you limited by what you think it cares about, what you think it doesn't care about, what you think you can do, what you think you can't do. Right? I think sometimes when I presented that to clients, it's like, wow, you're letting a lot of other people, the world out there, which is this nebulous thing, have a lot of power over the choices you're making. How's that feel? They never like it, but I think that's where I would go.
Okay.
So I like it.
Nice.
I like it. Let's see. So how much time do we have for this segment? We're okay?
I think we got a little bit longer.
A little longer. Okay, good.
5-6 more minutes.
Okay, good.
Something like that.
Want to make sure we don't run over. So, all right. So now let's get into the nitty gritty.
Okay.
We got the frameworks in mind.
Okay.
That's
My
good.
frames.
All right. So the fun part of writing classes in my experience was once I had it divided out, what did I name them? Like, what did I name the topic? Like the subjects we're going to be looking at. You can do it just straightforward. Looking at this, it's 101. So it's not necessarily going to be something that has to come up with all these slick different things like that. But what are you going to cover? We can go there, or we can just go into the assignments and see what you want to do.
I think my topic titles would come at the very end.
Okay.
After I've written.
Fair enough. That happens a lot.
When I write a paper, my title's like the last thing.
And
my intro paragraph is also the last thing I write.
Smart. Very smart. Because by then you know what you wrote.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yep. See?
It's a very practice
That'll be
method.
a point in my...
Practice method. She's
Okay.
right. You're not wrong.
There was only a couple of things that came to mind for homework and whatnot. Is I would want these people to get comfortable with writing and speaking and presenting. Because I think those are different things. It's one thing to speak to your coworkers. It's one thing to speak to multiple people at once. So what if you're doing an interview and it's a group interview and you have 5 people sitting across the table from you watching you? Like that sounds...
You can't read your answer.
Nerve-wracking, right? Yes. And you have to be able to present yourself, and presenting yourself starts with having confidence in yourself and knowing yourself and actually knowing your strengths and your weaknesses and being proud of them and not being afraid of them at the same time. It's not a problem to be aware that you have a weakness that you're trying to improve on.
It's true.
That's totally okay to admit.
It's a really good
Actually,
point.
it's really mature to know that and then admit it out loud.
Might be an important part of the class for them to identify. Right?
Well,
that's
weaknesses are. Yeah, that's in there.
Oh, you got notes. She's got notes, everybody.
notes.
I'm looking down here. Got
Well,
notes.
he's yapping.
Wow.
I'm writing notes. Okay,
That's
so
pretty cool.
I had.
Got good handwriting, Ashley.
Thanks.
You have really nice
That's my
handwriting.
scribble writing. But
Mine
thank
is
you.
just anyway. Go ahead.
Well, you have
Yeah,
your
I had
PhD,
cursive,
so that
yeah,
makes
yeah.
sense. Okay, they would have. We would probably do this in class, but you would be required to handwrite journal entries. Handwrite.
About
Well, the prompts would change, but I want them to get in the habit of writing and thinking on their own and thinking like on their feet, but in class.
there you
Because
go.
if they do it at home, somebody else is writing it, they're reading it from somewhere, they're doing it last minute. So no, we're like cutting out time in class. Everyone's writing in their journal. Now, I might give prompts, or it might be you're writing about what's going on in your life right now, or whatever.
Something that's kind of a little more AI proof is what I hear.
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
a lot of this will be AI proof.
Okay.
But like it will, like what area do you know really is a strong suit of yours, and what area is a weakness of yours, so on and so forth. Okay. There would be other in-class writing prompts as well, aside from a journal, because journal's about yourself, and then the actual writing prompts. But the point is, I want them writing and away from a computer, so they can't use help.
I love it. I love it
they
for a
would
lot of reasons. I'll come back to that. I think that's clever.
Okay, thank you. Later, we're coming out of time. Later in the class, they would have to write a speech and actually speak in front of the class. And then I want them to create a video resume that they
Oh,
cannot read.
video resume that they cannot read. Okay.
So they have to set up their phone. Everyone has an iPhone, set up their phone and I would probably have certain questions that they have to basically write out what their resume would be in written and almost memorize at the point. They might have bullet points, but then look at the camera and answer those questions that I prompted them with, because I want to see how do they present, what is the cadence that they speak, what kind of words do they use, do they speak too fast,
have them see it,
do they have enunciation, because I think we're going to go to the day and age where who gives a crap about paper? Stacks of paper resumes are going to the garbage. But if you could send in a digital resume of yourself, you're already showing them how you dress, how you look, how you speak, how you articulate. And I think that could help them a lot.
100%.
So
that gives me some ideas that we'll hit on the other end of the break, because I think that's a great idea. And it comes up with some other ones. So when we come back from our second break here on Staying Power, we're going to hammer out more of these classes. Ashley sounds a lot more fun right now. So,
and our segment.
Yeah, and when we come back, we'll have our weekly segment. This week it's 2 Minutes of Terror. So just stick around for 1 minute. We'll be back with that here on Staying Power.
If you've been thinking about upgrading your home, this might be your sign.
We're proud to be sponsored by Pars Revive Renovation, serving Bellevue, the East Side, and the greater Puget Sound.
They specialize in turning everyday spaces into something functional, beautiful, and tailored to you.
From kitchens and bathrooms to full renovations, they bring the same level of care and attention to detail that we talk about here on Staying Power.
Because your environment matters. It shapes how you feel, think, and live.
Check them out at parsrenovation.com. That's P-A-R-S renovation.com, and see what's possible for your home.
Hey, JD, do you want to have a better life?
Yeah. Doesn't everybody?
Yes, we do. How do I go about doing that?
A good place to start would be listening to our new show, Staying Power.
What's it about?
It's about all the ways we can overcome the challenges that we sometimes put in front of ourselves to live a better life.
Where can I find it?
You can listen to it on 1150 AM KKNW every Wednesday at 4 p.m. and Fridays at 9 a.m. or wherever you get your podcasts.
Let's do this together every week on Staying Power.
Alternative Talk 1150. Talk radio for the body, mind, and soul.
Welcome back to Staying Power. JD here with Ashley.
Hi.
We're building course curriculum today, so I'm kind of geeking out. It's kind of fun. This is good, Ashley. I like what you're putting together, and I'm giving me ideas for yours and for mine, so this is kind of fun. We may have to do something with this. We'll see what we're going to do.
Cool.
All right, so before we get back to that, though, let's take 2 minutes. It's our weekly segment where Ashley and I each take a couple minutes to talk about something that's been happening in our lives and how we've responded to it, all in the name of being vulnerable, sharing, and open, and connecting, which are key building blocks to creating a better life. So this week it is 2 minutes of terror. Here we go.
Hearing 7 years of bad luck.
7 years of broke. Yeah, whatever that was. That was a mirror for sure.
Might have been a mirror.
Ashley, what do you got?
Okay, mine, it's kind of a weird one. So I've just had a lot of moments over the last few months as I was reflecting that just really show me how short life is and that really we don't know how much time we have. And there's just been some moments that it wasn't, the thought wasn't debilitating, but it certainly spurred some urgency and a little bit of, I felt a little shaken almost sometimes where I'm like.
Some fear?
Maybe fear, but I'm like, I don't know what I'm afraid of necessarily.
Right.
But sometimes I'm like, well, what if I don't really make it to 80? What if I only make it to 38? Or, whatever. And like, those are not thoughts that I want to sit and just carry around with all day long. But at the same time, it's a bit debilitating, but also it's really encouraging of like, well, that's why you should really live your life and really enjoy it and curate it in a way that you want.
Oh, curating's a good word.
Would enjoy this ride while we're here. And just every once in a while, like recently, that thought has continued to come back to me. And I've had things happen in life that reminded me of that.
Being reminded of our own mortality.
Yes.
Yeah. The older you get, the more you think about it, it seems like, or the more you get reminded of it. Yeah. Yeah, that's tough. So, but you seem to be kind of working through it okay.
Well, you have no choice.
Well, you do, though.
I mean, I guess I don't give myself a choice. Yes, there is a choice of like, how do you want to respond to that? And I'm like, well, let's not sit in fear and terror. Let's go out and live. But yeah, at the same time, it's like, it's a weird thought.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And sometimes, particularly, at night is where you can kind of sense them. Anyway. All right. Okay. That's a really good one. Mine is somewhat related, but it has to do with my own health. Everything's okay. But now that in my new job, I've got, good health insurance coverage again and things like that. I'm in the process of like lining up all the different tests that I'm overdue for.
Mm-hmm.
And wow, I don't want to do them.
Really?
Yeah, not because I'm afraid of what I'm going to find out, at least not consciously,
Mm-hmm.
right? But just the idea of, wow, some of these things, I'm 52 going on 53 later this year. Some of these things were things I needed to do at 50. I haven't done them yet. I can get into the what ifs really fast. Like, what if there's something surprising here? What if there's something, waiting for the other shoe to drop? There's a chronic thing in a lot of my circles and sometimes even in my family where things can be really good and somebody's waiting for something bad to happen. Like, it can't stay this good this long, can it? Like, it can't stay this positive this long, can it? And I don't say that as a criticism of anybody in my family or anybody in my circles. I think we all can do this, right? I think it's a human thing. But it is something I've noticed that I'm also able to do despite all the things that I do work on and the things even like we're talking about today, right? It's still a good reminder that these are all things that I need to be doing for myself, And so I found myself the last week or so going, ugh. Like, I want to pick the later date for some of these things, right? I can't do it this soon. I can do it then,
are you
though.
procrastinating?
I'm kind of pushing things out, want to push things out, like, well, when can I do that? So it's something like that, even though every time I think of whatever my responsibilities are, or I got to do this for this person, or I got this for work or whatever, they'd all be like, health first, you moron, right? Take care of yourself.
You're like, no, you're being a really great distraction and placeholder.
Yeah, right,
So
exactly.
You stay there.
Exactly. So yeah, I've just been kind of overwhelmed a little bit this week by that, where I'm just like, oh man, I have a lot I got to check in on. So, and I also tell myself right now, absent of any other information as just as possible, I'll feel freaking great on the other end of that. Be like, I'm in pretty good shape, and I'll be happy about that. So we'll see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it. Okay. So getting back to classes.
Back to the classroom.
Back to the classes.
I think I spent a good portion yapping the last segment about
you're
my
not comfortable
class.
with that?
I love it. But I should pass the mic back to you. So for your class, do you have little slick names that you would want to put for your topic?
Not yet. I'm just like you. I think I'd probably find them at the end.
Okay.
For
your particular, because I am actually a little bit intrigued, for your topic that you chose, which is, again, helping younger men.
Younger men.
Yes.
But it could be for anybody. But yeah,
really,
particularly younger men. I think there's some real acute problems with younger men these days that make them very susceptible to going in directions that are not beneficial for them and for anybody else in their life.
Okay.
So
helping them find their way through the weeds of their young, growing life.
Yeah.
What would you do for like assignments for this type of in-person class?
Well, first of all, they're going to have to deal with me. That's the first thing.
That's an assignment.
That's on some level. The way that I intro, I've always believed that with a class, your very first session with them is 50% of the work that you're going to do in terms of getting them on board or not getting them on board. And so I always had, really, really unique ways of introducing a class. And they would have to deal with that first. And it's usually, I wouldn't say intense in a scary way, but it's meant to be engaging. It's meant to illustrate something. It's meant to keep them guessing as to why I'm talking about something. So it's a little bit of a lecture format, but if you talk to anybody who took lectures with me, they never felt like they were being talked at. It was, here's something to present that I want you to think about. Right? I was never a big believer in thinking that I was teaching my students what to think on a subject, but teaching them how to think. This would be introducing them to how to better think, how to better act, how to better feel, right, in ways that connect with what actually matters to them, right? Not what they've been told should matter to them, not what they've been taught should matter to them, but what actually does, right? So there'd be some digging there. So to do that, but then also, I do think some assignments like, let's lay out how your day goes. Tell me how your day goes and be honest about it. And not only would they have to lay that out, they'd have to share it with other people, right? I'm a big believer that men connecting, talking with other men helps empower them to take positive steps forward and helps them better build their relationship skills. They can do that with other men. They can do it with other people in their life, right? And learn from other men. So I think that part matters, right? In that sense, it's not all that different from a lot of men's things that are out there. However, there's not going to be a lot in my class of imposing on them, here's what you should think about A, B, C, D, or E. There will be some of that, because I do think there are personal and professional ethical standards and things like that that do matter, right? Treating other people like crap is not acceptable, right? It's not a high level of functioning, right? It's not a best self, right? Stepping on other people to get where you want to go, not a high ethical function, right? It's not one that builds integrity, right? If you want to build esteem, you make esteemable acts and experience that, right? So my assignments would be a lot of that, laying those things out, making those lists, tracking them over a period of time.
So like they would have to keep like a log of higher self things that they have done.
Yep.
Okay.
And I'm stealing part of your idea. This all has to be written by hand.
Nice.
I'm stealing your idea.
I think I will let you have it.
That's an amazing, amazing thing. So that's where I would start. There would be some writing as well, I think. I would want them each to be exploring not just where some of these things came from in their life, like where these challenges came from, but what were some things that in their past maybe helped them move in what felt like a positive direction? What are some things looking back on hindered them from that? Because I think that we need an opportunity to identify that and feel the feelings that come with that.
Sure.
Right? Disappointment, anger, frustration, betrayal, those types of things. And then go, okay, those are all real and you still have a life to live. Right? So being embittered with somebody else and taking it out on yourself by avoiding your responsibilities or avoiding your job or numbing your feelings just essentially is drinking poison and hoping they die.
Right.
So stuff like that. I'd start with that. That's what I do. And I would do that around multiple topics. And then I think there is something too, this is what I was going to suggest for your class. I want them to start talking about these things and planning them out and acting them out with other people in the class, right? Here's the things you're going to try. These are the things you're going to try and implement. How's that going? What's that looking like? How's this playing out in your life, right? And needing to present that, right? You and I have something in common. Communication starts with a willingness to share what is actually going on in your head, in your heart, in your life, in ways that not only express what's happening, but also help you bring in the things you need to feel like you need to take the next steps.
Okay. I like it.
Okay.
Would your class come with like a final exam or a final something? Or because most classes I know and have ever taken, whatever, there was always a final quote unquote thing.
Yeah, I would. And some of this I would steal from some previous work that I did. It'd be two parts. Again, I think verbal communication, written communication matter. I think we have those in common in our courses. I would want them to write and live out, or they could talk about it on camera or, whatever, however they wanted to do it. A scenario where they knew they only had 1 year to live. How did they want to be? Not just what they wanted to do, but what did they want to make sure was in place? What did they want to make sure they did? Who did they want to see? What would they want to do? Would they continue to work? Would they not continue to work? And to take it seriously. But then to branch off on that and say, and create a version of themselves that they wrote about based on everything they've learned about where they want to go and how they want to be. Most importantly, how they want to be. Because not everything about where we want to go in life is controllable by us.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And that's going to have to be, that'd be a reality I would hit in the course as well. Probably be a whole section when things don't go according to plan.
Sure.
I think that, like, how do you want to be, right? You can have all the dressing up you want. You can have the dream house. You can have the relationship. You can have the kids. That's all fine. Those may or may not play out that way. But how do you want to be regardless of what your life looks like?
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of whether you have all that or regardless you spend your last days on your own in a assisted living facility by yourself and you're 95 years old. How do you want to be when you're 95 years old living on your
Sure.
own, right? I want to be the one that everybody's like, oh, watch out for that guy. He's hilarious, right? That's who I want to be, right?
Nice.
So stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I would. How about you?
I don't know if I would have. I don't think it would be like a final exam because I know in the beginning, like probably the first or second day of class, I would want them to write kind of like a letter to themselves, or I guess you could say like a journal entry of what they hope to get out of the class or what they hope to have improved on over the next 10 or 12 weeks. And then fold it up, put it in an envelope.
Oh, that's a good idea.
And then they open it on the last day of the class.
And metric that. Yeah.
And see where they ended up. I don't know what I would do for like a final type of thing necessarily.
I have some suggestions.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be for a final. Maybe these could be for assignments.
Sure.
Mock it up. Take them through a hypothetical.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like set something up where like it's a scenario. It could be their job. It could be a job they're going into.
Mm-hmm.
It could be like, how are you going to communicate this? What's coming up for you?
I mean, I
that?
may assign them like you must go interview somewhere and then come back and tell me how it went.
That's a good idea.
Thing. If like the
they could
metrics
even set up,
worked out.
They
right?
could even set up the interview with their job if they wanted to, their current job, right? If they're learning that.
Try to interview for a promotion or, something of that nature.
Right. And then you could even give them something that they could give to their employer or something like that. Say, would you let them know how they do on this? What would you suggest? Something like that could be cool.
I'd probably do that later in the course, right? After they've got their bearings and learned a few things.
Yeah. Wouldn't you love as a manager if you had students who, or an employee who went and did this class and you knew they'd gone through some hypothetical role-playing scenarios on a situation that might be similar to what they meet in your office and you knew how they responded?
I think so. I struggle with role-playing.
Do you?
Because I've never gotten anything out of it when I role-play. Because to me, role-playing is more nerve-wracking than the real thing.
Which might be a good reason to do it.
Which is maybe why, because then when it comes to the real thing. But like to me, role-playing is so superficial that it never really frames what reality looks like, at least in all the different things I've ever had to role-play for. It wasn't, it was applicable to an extent, but all of it felt so superficial that it's not like I walked away and was like, oh, I'm so glad I role-played. But I do know, and it could be just the way that the role-playing was set up, but I do know some companies actually utilize that for employee training, and it's like mandatory.
Well, that for younger people, experiential learning kind of is a big thing, or at least seems to be something that connects with people rather than like being talked at or that kind of thing. I think integrating those things together can be really good.
It might be better if it was like broken up into groups as opposed to doing it in front of the entire class because everyone's already nervous in front
groups
of the
would be
class.
good. Yeah, I think I think you need
smaller groups and I just sit in on all of them.
Yeah, or you could have them video it or something like that, or do something like that, pull that together and set up the hypothetical scenario. Yeah, that would be interesting. Okay. Anything else?
Kind of fun. I think we're almost out of time.
Are we almost out of time? We are almost out of time.
We got like a
Look at
minute.
that. Holy cow. There's a lot that came out of this,
Class
Ashley.
was in session.
Yeah, class in session. If any of you sound interested in taking this class or think somebody would, let us know. Maybe we'll pull some together. There's lots of different ways to do these kinds of things. Ashley, this is a really good idea. Thank you for bringing it in.
Oh, thanks.
And thanks to all of you for joining us for this episode of Staying Power. We'll be back next week to talk about another area in which you can build a better life. And we'll hope, just like we hope this one did, that it resonates with you. Remember, you can catch this as a podcast wherever you get your podcasts. You can also follow our YouTube channel at Staying Power Show. Find out more about us at 1150 AM KKNW in Seattle. That is our radio home. Thank you to all of them. Thank you to Nathan behind the board. Thank you to PARS Revive Renovation for sponsoring the show. Go check out the amazing work they do on home renovations at PARS, P-A-R-S, renovation.com. Make sure you mention that you heard about them from Staying Power and see what that results in for you. I am JD.
I'm Ashley.
We will see you next week. Take care, everybody.